What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, CEO, MTS Nutrition. Sugar. People look at sugar like it's arsenic, like it's poison, like it's heroin. Sugar's more addictive than heroin. I've done a video on that before, and it's completely BS. But I will say that sugar is sugar, but it's not. There's natural sugar and there's processed sugar. And being that I have a product that I do get that question once in a while with the Outright Bar, which contains 16 to 20 grams of sugar, I want to explain how the sugar in the Outright Bar, the sugar in fruit, the sugar in vegetables, or the sugar in whatever you eat isn't the same as just taking a spoonful of sugar, right? It's not the same thing. So let's be real here. Now, there's a couple different sources of sugar, right? There's natural and there's processed. Let's go over the natural sugars. Glucose, otherwise known as simple sugar. It's basically the simplest thing your body can digest. Your body likes glucose, and glucose is found in all foods that have carbohydrate. All foods. Plus, think about it this way. Glucose is even found in low carbohydrate foods like onions, peppers, tomatoes. Okay, it's vital to every single cell in your body, vital to life. And it's produced by your body, which is why when your body needs glucose, it can break down protein into glucose via gluconeogenesis. That's the process where protein is broken down to glucose. So your body likes glucose. Now again, your body can thrive on ketones. If you lack glucose and protein, you're in a ketogenic diet. But if you give your body a choice, you have protein, carbs, and fat, it's gonna rock with the glucose. Look, I get excited about good clothes, and these were actually custom made. These pants right here, zip up pocket, awesome. The fit is like a glove. It's the most comfortable pants I've ever had in my life. We have them right now at Tiger Fitness. You've watched the video this long, we'll give you 10% off. Coupon code and link is in the description box below. Fructose, that's another simple sugar. It's found in fruit. It's also known as fruit sugar. It's also found in honey, like the Outright Bar. It's a bit harder to break down as your liver breaks down most of it. So it goes through your liver first. Your liver breaks it down. Those are the two forms of natural sugars. Then there's refined or processed sugars, right? Sucrose, half glucose, half fructose, combines to form a complex sugar. It's usually extracted from sugar beet plants or sugar cane, and that makes your typical table sugar. Then there's other types like high fructose corn syrup, agave, molasses, where those are just sugars from other sources. Again, it's not table sugar. They could be better, could be worse. For example, high fructose corn syrup, people vilify that too. I don't. I think it's completely fine unless you make it 99% of your diet. Okay, you're looking at total macros. If you're hypocaloric and you get a lot of high fructose corn syrup, it's not gonna make you fat. But if you're hypercaloric and you have high fructose corn syrup, I think that's a perfect storm for just weird stuff to happen. So the thing is, the main difference is how it delivers glucose and fructose. For example, fruits are not just fructose in different shapes. They also have nutrients. They have vitamins, antioxidants, fiber, and they have fructose and glucose. Like a banana actually changes its ratio. It starts out when it's not ripe as mostly fructose and part glucose. The more ripe it gets, the more glucose to fructose it has. So you have to look at it that way. So you also have the vitamins, minerals, fiber, which affects its rate of digestion. It affects how fast or slow it is. So it's also much harder. So for example, okay, if you were to drink a can of Coke with 80 grams of carbohydrates, I believe it's 80 grams or 75, one apple contains like 20 grams of carbs. So you'd be eating 5 apples to get the equivalent of the sugar in a Coke. So you can't compare whole food to processed food. I've never seen anybody get fat eating apples, ever. It's not gonna happen. It's all about nutrient density. And that's where table sugar comes in, because you can pack a lot, a little bit like, for example, the C4 calorie-free beverage, right? If this was a Coke, this can right here, this can would contain 80 grams of carbohydrate. Can you believe that, Katie? 80 grams in this little can. That's like eating a whole fucking apple tree. So what happens is when you eat the processed sugar, it's easy to eat. easy to take in. It's not like eating an apple. It's not like eating an outright bar. It's not like even taking in, dude, you're not Winnie the Pooh. You're not getting a whole thing of honey with your paw. You know what I mean? So it's much easier to overeat. So think of it that way. How much sugar do we eat? Now I took notes on this. In 1822, the average American consumed 25 grams of sugar every 5 days. I'm sorry, 45 grams of sugar every 5 days. That's equal to 1 can of soda, or I saw Barq's root beer was like 75 or 80. Today, the Americans consume 765 grams of sugar every 5 days because sugar is in almost every single processed food. The recommended amount is 36.5 grams per day for men and 25 grams for women. Now, I'm guessing most of you exercise, so that can be more. Your caloric intake will be higher if you exercise. This is for a sedentary individual. So if you look at the outright bar with, let's say, 17 grams of sugar, right? You can eat 2 of those and still be well within your sugar recommendation. You drink 1 can of soda, you've tripled what you should have in sugar. Also, when you're eating the outright bar, you're eating fruit. Okay, with honey, you're getting it's a superfood. Honey has antibiotic properties. It has antimicrobial properties. It has vitamins, minerals, nutrients. You don't get that from table sugar. Also, it's a slow digesting carbohydrate. Shown actually in diabetics, you combine it with the other things. Like you're not just eating this on its own, right? Like with fruit, you're getting all those beautiful fiber, nutrients, all those beautiful things, right? With fruit. Let's say with the outright bar, you're also getting the healthy monounsaturated fats from peanut butter, the healthy protein from whey protein isolate. So you can't just look at sugar. And then I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to say sugar alcohols, net carbs, fake carbs, like these other protein bars claim or these other foods claim, these quote unquote low carb foods. Dude, they're bullshit. There's no such thing as a net carb. Okay, here's what happened. I believe this is the story. If I'm wrong, let me know. Dr. Jeffrey Volek is the one who's pioneered a lot of the low carbohydrate studies, right? He had his clients on low carbohydrate ketogenic diets or VLCDs, very low carbohydrate diet. Because his clients were not eating vegetables, because they were afraid that they were going to break their ketosis, he didn't want that to happen. So he was like, hey, those aren't net carbs. Those are carbs, but they don't count. So just count the net carbs. Next thing you know, these protein bars and these fake low carb foods are putting all these bullshit sugar alcohols, all these bullshit glycerins, all these bullshit fake prebiotic fibers in the gram dosages. Prebiotic fiber is great in 3 to 4 grams, not in 20 plus like some of the bars have, right? Quest bar has what, 16 or 17 grams of prebiotic fiber? Like I can't eat those without having a gut bomb. So at the end of the day, you just got to look at the big picture. You can't just see the word sugar and it be like the C word in your head, except for nutrients, right? Sugar is fine. It's where that sugar came from, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? If you see sugar on the label and you find out that most of it comes from honey or from fruit or from whatever, it's much different from if it just says sucrose. It's much different than if it just says cane sugar, right? It's much, much different. Anyway, that is my explanation of sugar. Sugar should not be avoided. However, just pay attention to where you're getting your sugar from. I'm Marc Lobliner. That's not a game.